And you're on.
Awesome. All right. Welcome everyone to our 6th Result Academy. They have been awesome, and I hope you've been getting some great information and tips and tricks on how you can tweak your program. Tonight, I'm really excited because I've got a very dear friend who is our guest speaker in focus tonight. So we're going to delve into her story and how she's used the products to get an incredible result. So without any further ado, I would like to welcome my dear friend Leanne Wagner from Brisbane. Now, Leanne's a mum of 3. She's a PT, so she's got her own PT business, and she's represented Australia in Ironman competitions and does triathlons and marathons and all those kind of crazy sports that I can't get my head around, because it takes an awful lot of dedication and determination to be able to do those kind of long endurance sports. So she is my idol, my pin-up girl, and my go-to to keep me sane. So I'm so excited for Leanne to share with you. So Leanne, I'll let you kind of take it away from here. Can you just explain this photo down the bottom, first of all, where you're pointing to your name? Yep. I know that's a very important photo, so...
Oh, yeah, no, it was, and hi everyone, lovely, and thank you very much for asking me to be on the call tonight, Nat and Ralph. Really honoured and chuffed when you asked me. That photo down the bottom there is when I was in Malaysia, and I did the Ironman 70.3, just the race. It was just a race, and I did that, and they started putting your names on shirts, and that was just this big board that had our names on it. So yeah, it's just me pointing to the board. Yeah,
that's pretty cool though, to get your name up on there.
Yeah, very much so. And they were my 3 beautiful kids on the previous page.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
So Leanne, as I said, had at the point that she was introduced to Herbalife, she had her own PT business. She's always been athletic. So, you know, you or I, to look at Leanne before, we probably would have thought she was a hot mama anyway. She didn't need to lose weight. She had it all sorted. And Leanne thought that way too, being a PT. She thought she didn't need the product. So you always said to me that you were the worst client ever, Leanne.
Yeah, it sure was. Yeah. I was always trying to get into the best shape of my life and just couldn't. That was the thing that did my head in. And, you know, as you mentioned that I've always lived a healthy, active lifestyle, and even as a PT, I just couldn't get the results. So, you know, it took me a while. It took me 10 months to use the products properly and consistently. And then the light bulb switch went on. Yeah.
So before you started on the products, I know you said to me that you've been very fortunate. You've always been quite healthy and never really had any major issues, but endometriosis is a pretty big one. But, you know, you also said you lacked energy and all the rest of it. So can you just talk us through the different struggles that you did have, like that you wanted to get on top of if you could?
Yep, certainly. Thanks, Nat. Yeah, the endometriosis, I won't go into too much, but yeah, I suffered really badly all from my teenage years right on through till I had my last pregnancy with twins, and so after that things started to subside a little bit, but still was happening. But it wasn't until I did jump on the products that I did notice a considerable amount of difference, and all through my 40s and 50s that I've been using the products, I've not had any issues. It's been amazing. So that's been great. Sorry to share that with you, Ralph.
That's all right. You're used to being surrounded by women, aren't you, Ralph?
Part of the deal. If you've got women in your life, it's part of the deal.
Yeah.
And I'll just go down the list there just for a second, and touching still on the female side of things. And the perimenopause just started to come on in my mid to late 40s, and I nipped it in the bud. I know we can't say that any products cure anything, but one thing I would say, I upped my tong quai, or dong quai, however you like to pronounce it, and within 6 weeks those symptoms had subsided. I was just getting night
The sweats.
clamminess. Yeah, night clamminess. It wasn't even sweats, it was just clamminess, and I nipped it in the bud. And yeah, so I won't go on too much more about that at this stage. But yeah, so I had a really, like, 40s and early 50s. It's been a breeze for me. It's been wonderful. As far as energy would go, yeah, I would often have those nana naps in the afternoon. I'd be falling asleep. This is before Herbalife. I'd be falling asleep at my desk. Or even, you know, when I'd be training clients, I'd be thinking, oh, really, I really love a nap. And then, yeah, I'd pick the kids up from school and bring them home, and I'd get them afternoon tea, and I would just get stuck into whatever and everything. Even though I was already eating really well, it was the afternoons that really, where I'd get into a bit of binge eating. Not every day, but some days. So, yeah.
When you say binge eating, Leanne, what do you mean? Were you eating still healthily, but just eating a lot of stuff at one time?
Yeah, I would get into, at that stage, I'd buy the kids, you know, a packet of biscuits. They'd have to last a week, so they wouldn't. They'd last, you know, between us that afternoon, and I'd get stuck into them. Peanut butter, I just love. I'd get into peanut butter sandwiches or crackers. But, yeah, I would still, that was the time of the day I would get right into some higher carbs. So, you know, if there was some cakes or muffins or scones or things like that, yeah, that's when I'd hit it. And even chocolate, I was a bit of a chocoholic as well.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a self-confessed one of that.
And besides, yeah, doing the exercise and everything that I was doing and eating really well, I just always, I mean, that binge eating wasn't crazy horse that you know, as you saw my before photos, but it was enough that when I was really watching what I was eating and not doing that, I still struggled to lose those last few kilos.
Yeah. Which is interesting for someone who consumed your week with exercise and training, and you were still struggling to lose that. So that's an important point. Remember that, everybody. So some of your habits that you had before starting Herbalife.
Yeah. Okay. So as you can see there, always had lived a healthy, active lifestyle. Our whole family. I'm the youngest of 7, and we played sport. We were very active, and Mum, you know, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, Mum always cooked a really healthy, wholesome meal. So I was, you know, we didn't overeat or anything like that, and we were always outside playing or going to sport. So, yeah, that was something that I was accustomed to. And as I got older, just always had breakfast. I just knew I'd studied home economics. I'd always had an interest in nutrition and exercise. So I was going to be a nurse, and then I was going to be a naturopath. I actually started that course. So I always had that interest in nutrition. Like, that was something I'd always read about. So I was, you know, I knew kind of what I should and shouldn't be doing. Had a few coffees a day, enjoyed those, but I was never an addict of, you know, drinking coffee. I wasn't someone that needed a coffee. Something that I will probably never give up is my wine. That is my absolute love, and I have learned to cut down, and I still love a wine, you know, on the weekend. Occasionally, you know, I'll come home from work and have a glass of wine as well. Never got into junk food or anything like that, so that was never an issue for me. And also, you know, I never had a problem with drinking water. So I was really, you know, I did know what to do. I was always on that track of that healthy, active lifestyle, as I always said.
Can I just point out too, like you said to me, you were eating regularly. So us coaches are always saying to everyone, you have to have breakfast, morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea, dinner. So you were doing that, and you thought you were eating healthy, but you weren't getting the results. So I just wanted to point that out before we get on to the next part, because that's really important. So Leanne was still doing that, but once she learnt the ways that we get taught with Herbalife, how she tweaked things, then that's when she started to see results.
Yeah, and if I can just say there, Nat, I wasn't getting the protein. Like, I don't know if we're going to talk about that down further, what I used to eat. Yeah, okay.
Yes, that's coming up soon.
Yeah, sure. So that was the thing. I wasn't getting enough protein. Yeah.
Now, I love these after photos. So, you know, we saw Leanne before and she didn't really need to lose any weight. You know, we'd look at her and go, she looks amazing. But she dropped, you know, 7 kilos from her starting weight when she started Herbalife. Her body fat percentage dropped, her muscle increased, her visceral points went down, and she went to a size 6. So a 2 to 3, because you said you were about a 10 to 12 before, depending on the make of the clothes. So that's a 2 to 3 dress size. So that's total reshaping just from introducing the products, really, is all you did, wasn't it? And learning to add more protein basically into your diet, which was the key, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the products.
Yeah, definitely.
It's unbelievable. Like, you always look amazing, and like I said, you're my pin-up girl.
You're gorgeous.
So explain then, once you started, what was the difference that you felt once you started on the products?
Like I said earlier on, it took me 10 months to use the products properly and consistently. I was a bit of a pain in the neck when it came. Like, Sybil, my coach, would ring me and check in, as we do, to check to see how I had my shake. And I would actually fib to her, and she said, "Did you actually have a shake?" And I go, "No." She said, "Why not?" I said, "It's too much of a hassle." She said, "What?" And anyway, she persisted very beautifully with me, and eventually I did after 10 months. And actually what happened for me, I actually had a bit of a cold, and I was just about to run a half marathon at the Gold Coast, and I had a cold and I had a little bit of an injury. She said, "Just get back on the products and just give it a crack and see what happens." So she really coached me through it. The cold went. My injury subsided. I also was seeing a physio, so the injury subsided, and I actually went on and ran a PB. So that was one thing that happened. So from then on, I went, right, I'm hooked, I'm staying with it. So yeah, my energy did go through the roof. My sports performance increased dramatically. And also so did my confidence as well. It really was boosted. And I'd go out training, and at the time I was just running between 5 to 10 Ks, and I started to do a couple of half marathons just before getting into the products. And then I was just, you know, training all the time. And I'd come back from training, or I'd be out training, and I was just getting faster as well. And I'd say to my coach, as in my running coach, "Oh my God, I can't believe I ran, you know, the time that I ran." And he said, "You wait, I'm going to get you sub 50, you know, before you know it." And eventually I did, and I ended up going on to PB, like my 10 Ks, like from like when just before I started Herbalife, to where that PB for my 10 Ks is something like, just off the top of my head with my fantastic maths, around 13 minutes faster over 10 Ks. And my 5K, was like, around that 6 to 7 minutes faster. And just my recovery was, you know, getting fast, like was improving, and it was amazing. So I was able to do back-to-back training, and when I was and I don't know if that's coming up, but
It is.
just when I went on to do the Ironman and things like that. Do you want me to talk about that now?
Yeah, you can now. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. So what eventually happened?
Those photos.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. So what eventually happened is, for my 45th birthday, that's my husband, my former husband now, but it was my husband, and for my 45th birthday, we were just about to get married, actually. He gave me a marathon in Melbourne for my birthday. So we went down, did that, and then I went on to do a couple more and just kept PB and getting faster. And when we got married, a month after I did that marathon, and for some silly reason I said, besides I commit myself to him, not commit, but you know, I'd be the best wife in the world, all of that stuff, whatever. I said that I would actually do an Ironman with him one day because he was an Ironman triathlete. I think he had done about 6 at that stage. I was so inspired. He really inspired me to, he was the one that inspired me to just step up and go that little bit further. And he was a brilliant coach, particularly with running as well.
Yeah.
And then so I did at our wedding. I said that right at the end, I promised I'll do an Ironman with you one day, but I didn't actually mean literally side by side with him, but he took it literally. So he actually did the race with me, which is, you know, it was amazing for him to do that because it was about 3.5 hours slower than what he does. So that was pretty amazing. And as you can see in that photo, that's right, crossing the finish line after our Ironman. And my kids, if you look between us, they're my kids in that photo, which could like the crowd. It was crowded. It was so crowded. I can't believe my kids appear, and that's a professional photo too. Can't believe my kids are there, right in the middle of us. So that was pretty special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. It's really special.
And then, this one here, where you were for Australia.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was over in Austria, is that right?
Yeah, correct. That was a few years later. So after that, I've only done one Ironman. I'd love to do another one. It just takes a lot of training and a lot of time, a lot of commitment to do it. But one day I will. I'd like to do it sooner than later, but it's another, you know.
Yeah.
So I'd gone on to do lots of 70.3, as you can see that. So it's a half distance of an Ironman. And so we were doing a lot of training, and I'm, you know, doing a lot of races. And Stuart actually qualified for the World Championships up at Mooloolaba when we did the Sunshine Coast half Ironman up there, and I missed out by 1 spot. And so off we went to Canada. That's where he did the race. And at the end of they always have a presentation, awards night, and they showed up where the next year the race was going to be, and they showed up this amazing picture of Zellum Sea in Austria, and we both looked at each other and said, we're going. So we trained our butt off, and we both qualified down in Geelong, and off we went to Austria. I was actually injured, and I was told not to actually do the race, but I just said, oh, I don't think so, not when I've got my green and gold kit. I'm not missing out on that. So yeah, it was an amazing experience doing that.
And so with the injury, obviously the products helped you get through that race, being on the products then as well.
Yeah, they did. And also I was having physio, of course.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, the products, and yeah, I would not say that I even felt any of the injury while I was racing or afterwards.
That's huge.
Yeah,
That's huge.
Yeah.
So I've just gone back to after how you felt after Herbalife. So, you know, we've seen then with your sports recovery and your sports performance, that was through the roof. But as far as we touched on the menopause and the PMT before, but with your PT business, then you were able to introduce your clients to the product. So you was, you know, your business was benefiting, your clients were benefiting and getting better results as well.
Yeah, much better. And same to this day as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just incredible different. And they're shaping, like I could get them fit, I could get them flexible, strong and all of that, but just couldn't get them, you know, shaped really that well. And yeah, since then it's been completely different. Yeah.
Awesome. Now we've kind of painted the picture that you've always been a crazy girl when it comes to exercise. So you've always exercised. So you know, you'd run your own fitness sessions, but you were always doing stuff. Would you say since you've been on the products that, of course not before a race because training's full on, but would you say that your exercise you've tapered down because you've been able to get the results without flogging yourself so much as what you were doing before with the exercise? Or
I guess
or you're still doing about the same?
I'm not doing the same at the moment. no, but I'm getting back into it. Just, you know, life happens and things change. So I've had to, my exercise, still, like I went running this morning, went running yesterday. I'm still cycling and stuff. So
Yeah.
but it's tapered down just through, you know, time that I have available at the moment. I've got other priorities, but
Yeah.
what happened in, you know, some of these photos, the one there, I guess it's the left of the screen, that's just one of the triathlons. And that why I always use that photo is that was only about 2 months after Rebuild Strength and oh my goodness, just had a mental blank. The Hydrate, those two products first came out in the sports range, and so, yeah, it's only 2 months, and my body fat dropped even more, and my muscle went up, and just my recovery, just everything. So I probably got more into my exercise because I had so much energy. I felt so great. I was recovering so well. I was excited. I was inspired, and just that became, you know, that was already Stuart's life, but that became my life as well. And we would just go everywhere doing running events like marathons and triathlons and mountain biking. And that picture on the far right, that's me coming back from a 50K mountain bike race. And I was doing like 6-hour races and 12-hour races and 24-hour mountain bike races and things like that. And just because I could, and I loved it. And it was
You're
fun.
making me tired just hearing all that. My goodness, I don't know how you do it, but clearly you were able to get through it all though with arming yourself with the right products and nutrition to get through it, so your body didn't collapse. Yeah.
And that picture there where I'm just about to high five someone coming in from a race, that was a week before I did my ultra marathon. So that was the lead up to that race. That was I think a 13K trail run, and so I've got that. And particularly the ultra marathon, I had CR7 Drive on me. I had water. I had like the F1 Sport. I'd had obviously before the race, and during the race I had it made up that I could grab it and have it during the race. And then as soon as I finished the race, I was straight into the Rebuild Strength. That was 51 Ks, and truly my recovery from that race was not so bad at all. You know, it was a little bit as you expect. It was 7 hours trail running up and down hills and whatnot. So yeah, it was a little bit harder, not harder, but just to, you know, you could feel, I knew I had done something.
Yeah.
Just if I could just say about recovery with the sports nutrition, the last marathon I did 2 years ago, I did a PB, I smashed it. And the only thing that was sore after the race was my left big toe. That was it.
That's insane. That just speaks volumes for someone who did these kind of things prior without the products, and then to be doing them with the products, and for you to notice the difference. Like you've got an open mind to everything now and can see that the right nutrition and the support to fill the gaps where our food's lacking really helps in every area.
Yeah, no, it makes a difference. I wasn't doing, just to clarify that, I wasn't doing these endurance events. Like I had been doing half marathons, only a couple, but the other came
That's still an
after
endurance thing to me, Leanne, I tell you what.
Just because I had that, this energy and the stamina and just the mind, just everything. It was incredible.
That's awesome. So your habits then, once you started Herbie, I know you always say and share on our weight loss challenges that we do together as a team, that protein was the big thing that you focused on then and introduced into, because I know Ralph, myself and Ben speak a lot about this, and I think a lot of people roll their eyes and straight away think, oh my gosh, I can't eat that much red meat. You are like me, and you kind of do more of the plant-based proteins. So can you just talk about that a bit more?
Once I got it and realized it drip feed protein in every meal and snack, it just made sense. And you could see the difference in my body shape and my body composition with implementing or introducing the protein. So yeah, I predominantly have, like, my girls. One of my daughters is vegan, the other one's vegetarian. My son's now vegan. I was vegetarian most of my life as well, so I enjoy eating mostly plant-based protein. But I'm getting my protein in my shakes from the Formula Ones and the Triple P and the Rebuild Strength, and then of course having that protein snack morning and afternoon tea. Often it's another shake. I'll often have I call it a half strength shake at morning tea or afternoon tea, or I'll just sip it throughout the day, that particular one, depending on where I'm at with my goals. And can't beat one of our protein bars in the afternoon, just for that little delicious chocolate bits as well. It just yeah.
Can I just ask you, before your morning tea and afternoon tea, so before Herbalife, what was it that you were having? Because you were eating healthy, you weren't eating anything bad, but there was no protein really in your snacks, were there?
No, and even in my breakfast, my breakfast usually consisted of either like muesli or porridge with some fruit, or yogurt and fruit, or I loved eggs, so I'd have eggs some mornings as well, and loved avocado and Vegemite on toast, and also my absolute favourite peanut butter, honey and banana on toast, but haven't had that for so long.
Yeah.
And then morning tea, I would generally have like peanut butter crackers or cheese and tomato crackers, that kind of thing. And it's so long ago, Nat, too, kind of forget what I used to have.
Yes, but you're thinking you're doing the healthy thing. So now, give me, like you said, you have a shake now sometimes for a snack, but what's something else that you have for a snack, a quick snack?
One of my favourites when I'm at home is corn or rice cakes with cottage cheese and avocado on it. That's just amazing. I love, particularly if I've been training, I'll have some Greek yogurt with Rebuild Strength in it. Oh my goodness, that is bomb. Or maybe one of the F1s in there. That's delightful. Just a handful of almonds. Used to have some tuna, but I don't really get into that anymore. Occasionally some boiled eggs or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But predominantly now it's a half strength shake, or one scoop of Rebuild Strength on water, and I just have that, and then afternoon might be that again, or a protein bar, like I said, or I might divvy them up because I'm going for another result at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And like you said before, you still enjoy your wine. So you're not going without, you're not, feeling like you're missing out and you're not able to live your life and celebrate things with family and friends. You're still able to, because you know the products, you've developed that trust in the products that they've got you back. So you can still live life and be a bit naughty every now and then.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more than every now and again with me, with my wine. That's my other job.
There's lots to celebrate. Yeah. Leanne does, her job on the other side is a wine, what's your actual title?
A wine consultant. Yeah.
So if you go to the Brisbane airport, watch out for her on the wine stand. She'll fix you up for a tasty little beverage before your flight. Okay, so when you first got started, you told me you got started on the Ultimate Pack, plus you threw in the protein powder.
Yep.
And then we've kind of touched on this, I guess, with what we just shared then on what your typical day looked like once getting on the products. Can I just ask, did you, with all your training, were you finding you were getting hungry?
Oh, I was eating a lot.
Or were you feeling satisfied with everything you were having?
We were eating, when we were training for Ironman, we'd have an F1 shake before we go out, because we were riding, some days was between 100 to 160 Ks, just in training. So we'd always have a shake before we'd go out, and then when we'd come, and then we'd have stuff while we were on the bike, and then when we'd come back was a shake. Back then it wasn't rebuild strength when I was training for Ironman, but when we were training for some of the other Ironman races or my marathons and things like that, always a rebuild strength when we come back, and then often would cook up some like eggs and mushrooms, tomatoes, spinach and things like that as well. Yeah, just I was eating more. I did need to eat more because I was, some of the calorie, we just, heaps of calories.
And having to refuel your body all the time with all that training. Now, I want to touch on your lifestyle since Herbie has come into your life. Results Academy is about your personal result, but also, I guess, mindset-wise, I know Herbie has really helped you in that area as well, and building your self-confidence and going for what you believe in and want to strive for. So do you want to just share some of these awesome photos here?
Yeah, sure. I qualified active world team a few years ago, and leading up to that and after that, I was being asked to be guest speaker on calls and on stage at like the Success Summit, the World Team Retreat, STSs, and of course I had my Rising Star experience over in Perth. That striped dress there was just before I went down to the event, and I got to be on stage there as a Rising Star, which was really exciting. So I've done a fair bit of speaking on stage and on calls and everything. So that has improved, I've always liked, I need to get better at it. I know that. And that's something that Herbalife has certainly taught me is that mindset of getting better every day. That's one thing. And speaking nicely to myself, and instead of saying, I'm rubbish at something or, various things, I always say, okay, I'm going to get better at that, or recognize what I am good at as well. So that's something that I've really been mindful of, is my languaging and passing that on to other people as well. And just that positive mindset, and doing, like, one of my rituals every morning is meditation and personal development. And there's some days that, depending, like, I'll drip feed it into my day wherever I am. So lying in bed, that's one of the things that I'll have it going. Even through the night, I have subliminal messages going through the night. When I go exercising, when I'm just like getting breakfast, hanging out the washing, driving to work, cleaning my teeth, in the shower, or everywhere, anywhere I can, that's what I listen to, is some form of personal development. And not obviously, but definitely towards, my Herbalife business, but also to help me in my personal life and with.
And I'm sure with those races too, a lot of it, I mean, you need to train and everything, but a lot of it is your mind as well, to get you through to get to the finish line as well. Because I'm sure there'd be moments through those races you think, I'm just going to stop, I'm not going to keep going. So
my cycling coach gave me the mantra, strong mind and the body will follow. And I still use that to this day. Strong mind and the body will follow. And that
can be for every area in your life. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, we always get our guest speaker to share their favourite Herbie recipe, and yours is the mousse bowl. You do these beautiful little photos whenever you make these mousse bowls. So take a screenshot of this one so you can give it a whirl, and then, share on our bootcamp page your creation of your mousse bowl. So, and like all of our recipes, you can mix this up with whatever F1 you want, whatever fruit you want to add in there. I'm sure there's so many different variations out there, but it's just another texture and another way to have the shakes instead of having them as a shake. So you never get bored with it. So hope everyone has taken a screenshot of that. It was hard to choose, wasn't it, Leanne?
It was. I have so many favourites, but I love my shakes, thick, really thick, that I need a spoon, and I'll often, they're actually called muesli bowls. Julie and I came up with that name, but yeah, and often if I've been training, it will have a rebuild strength or two in there, depending on how, you know, how much training I've been doing.
Yeah, awesome. Fantastic. All right, so let's quickly go through and spotlight the products that Leanne started on. So in the very beginning, she got onto our fastest program, which is our ultimate program. And I think we've had a couple other guest speakers who have started on the ultimate program as well. So I won't go too in depth into it all, but you know, it includes your Formula One. So that has all your macro and micronutrients together with our multivitamin. Remember, our multivitamin is graded, so you know you're getting exactly the same amount of nutrients and goodness in each capsule. So that's unique to us and something that I'm super proud of. Our cellulose, which is a lot of people fondly call it the panel beater in a bottle, because it helps reduce cellulite, and it's a water balancer. So helps with water retention and moving water, that it doesn't just, you don't retain it in certain areas, and us females are pretty renowned for having that problem. Our active fiber, so it's soluble and insoluble fiber, is our active fiber complex. It's got a tasty apple flavor, so you can have this as a herbal tea by itself, or add it into what we call Glowlean or Boom Juice. Everyone's got a different name for it, where we combine the active fiber, the aloe, and the herbal tea. So those two products are also in there, is our herbal tea. So we've got the original, cinnamon and peach. All can be had cold or hot, so whatever your flavour is. I know up here in Townsville I mostly have the teas cold, but now that cold, but now that the weather's got cold, I've been enjoying the nice warm cups of tea with the beverage. And the probiotic complex, so you know, we're unique on the market with that one as well, that it doesn't have to be popped in the refrigerator. I think with a lot of other products out there in the market, you know, it has to be kept cold, where ours activates once you digest it, and it hits your system, and then all the goodness gets to work from there. So that's our ultimate pack. And then Leanne added in our personal protein powder. So this hasn't got a flavour, so you don't only have to put it into your shakes, you can add it into your everyday cooking. You can use it instead of cornstarch to thicken sauces in casseroles and things like that. You can add it to dips and all sorts of things. So, you know, there's so many recipes, and you don't have to get bored with our products. Food can be amazing, and your use of the products can be so exciting with how you choose to use them. So the other thing with the protein powder is it's another really good solution for those people if they are feeling like the shakes aren't sustaining them. Add this to your shakes, and it gets you through until the next meal, that you feel that bit more full before the next meal. So I want to highlight the 24 range, because Leanne's spoken a lot about that as well to help. She's spoken a lot about the rebuild. So that is, you know, another protein source that we can add into our programs to really help. I know after boot camp, now that we've gone back to the park, we're able to have our rebuild strength after boot camp, which is super cool to be back doing that. But you can also use the rebuild as your snack, morning tea or afternoon as well, because of that protein. So, you know, talk to us coaches and find out how you can tailor the products to best suit you in your circumstance. And, you know, everyone's got different careers and lifestyles, and we can fit the programs in around your work to make it work for you. So there's not we're not cookie cutters. There's not a one size fits all. I just wanted to share this too, because Leanne sent this through to me, and I thought it's a good way to leave everybody tonight on our Results Academy, that you know, don't dream your life, live your dream. And I think Leanne's proven that she's done that with all the things she's achieved. She hasn't let personal issues get in the way. She hasn't let age get in the way. You know, like I said, she truly is my pin-up girl, and she inspires me all the time, and I'm very grateful to call her my friend. But thank you so much for sharing tonight, Leanne. I hope it's given everybody a few tips and tricks or things that maybe you can mark to chat to us coaches to see how you can tweak your program. But once again, thank you so much, Leanne.
Thank you so much, Nat.
That's all right. And yeah, any questions? If we can't answer the questions if in relation to Leanne's story, we can always ask Leanne and get the answer back to you later on. So thanks, everyone. Enjoy your night, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Leanne.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for asking me to be on.
No worries.
See you, honey. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you, Ralph.